morning air over Southampton smells like salt, coal smoke, and something else, something electric. Ambition, maybe, or hubris. It is April 10th, 1912, and the docks are alive in a way that no one in this port city has ever seen before. She is here. RMS Titanic sits in the harbor like a floating city, and that comparison is not exaggeration. It is fact. She stretches 882 feet from bow to stern. She rises 11 stories above the waterline. Her four funnels exhale lazy ribbons of smoke into a pale spring sky. The sound coming off the docks is enormous. The grinding of cranes, the shout of stevedores, the deep chest vibrating moan of her horn as final preparations are made. 1,400 passengers are made. 1,400 passengers are about to board. They do not know what the next 4 days hold. We do. Follow a young steward named Thomas, 22 years old. First major posting, polished buttons, nervous hands. He has rehearsed this moment for weeks. White Star Line training told him to stand straight, speak clearly, anticipate needs before they are expressed. The passengers boarding today are not ordinary people. In first class, the wealthiest human beings on earth are stepping aboard. Men who own railroads, women who own oil companies through their dead husbands, names like Astor, names like Guggenheim, names that appear on buildings. Thomas watches them ascend the gangway and feels something close to religious awe. The world above decks glitters, mahogany paneling, palm courts with real living plants, a swimming pool filled with heated seawater, a gymnasium with mechanical horses. The a la carte restaurant serves food that rivals Paris. The grand staircase, its centerpiece, a wrought iron and glass dome, catches the April light and throws it across white oak floors. Down below in third class, the mood is different, but no less electric. Families from Ireland, Lebanon, Sweden, and Croatia press together in corridors that smell of disinfectant and shared breath. They carry cardboard trunks. They speak in 6 different languages. They are not here for the chandeliers. They are here because this ship will carry them to America. And America, they have been told, will carry them to a life worth living. The gangway retracts. The ropes release. The crowd on the dock waves handkerchiefs until their arms ache. The Titanic moves. Nobody on that ship knows that in exactly 4 days, 3 hours, and 40 minutes, the sea will swallow most of what they are celebrating. The handkerchiefs wave and wave and wave. From the dock, the ship looks invincible. From the water, she looks like a dream. Both impressions are wrong in a way that history will never forget. 3 days pass like a long exhale. The Atlantic in April is cold and gray and enormous. Out on the promenade deck, the wind carries a bite that makes even the hardiest passengers tuck their chins into their coat collars. But inside, the Titanic manufactures its own weather, warm air, soft music from the ship's orchestra, a string quartet that plays Strauss between meals and ragtime after. The smell of roasting beef and fresh bread rolls drifts through the first-class corridors like an invitation no one refuses. Margaret Brown sits in the first-class dining saloon on the evening of April 13th eating soup. The soup is vichyssoise. It is cold by design. The china bowl it sits in is edged in White Star Line blue. The spoon is real silver. Around her, the dining saloon hums with the particular noise of money at leisure, ice clinking in crystal glasses, the murmur of conversation about stock prices and summer homes, the occasional bright burst of laughter from a table near the window. A woman in green silk laughs at something her companion says. A man with white sideburns talks too loudly about a business deal in New York. Margaret watches them and thinks that these people believe this ship is an extension of their living rooms. She is not wrong. That is precisely what White Star Line sold them. Invulnerability dressed up as luxury. J. Bruce Ismay, the managing director of White Star Line, is also at dinner. He is trim, well dressed, and carrying something in his jacket pocket that no one at the table knows about. A Marconi wireless message received earlier in the day. It is from another ship. It warns of ice, large ice. Ice in the shipping lanes ahead. Zayan reads it again after dinner, alone, in his stateroom. He thinks about the crossing time. He thinks about the press coverage. He thinks about what it would mean to arrive in New York ahead of schedule. He folds the message. He puts it back in his pocket. The orchestra plays on. The ship moves at 22 knots, close to full speed. The sea is flat. The stars above deck are extraordinary, thick and cold and absolutely silent. A lookout named Frederick Fleet stands in the crow's nest, 70 feet above the waterline, and scans the darkness ahead. The binoculars that should be in the crow's nest are locked in a cabinet in Southampton. Someone forgot the key. Fleet uses only his eyes. The water is black. The night is clear. The temperature is dropping. Everything feels perfect. That is the danger. The sea is glassy and quiet, and a glassy, quiet sea means no waves breaking against the base of an iceberg, no white foam, no warning, just darkness. And then, if you are very unlucky, something enormous and pale emerging from the dark at the very last second. Go below, past the first-class staterooms with their brass fittings, past the second-class cabins, modest but clean, smelling of wood polish and fresh linen. Keep going, down past the waterline, down to where the ship's real soul lives. The third-class general room on E-deck smells like tobacco, wool, and boiled cabbage. It is loud in the way that real life is loud, not the curated background music of the dining saloon, but the honest noise of people who cannot afford silence. Children chase each other between the benches. A man with a fiddle plays something fast and Irish. 3 Swedish women clap in time. A Lebanese family in the corner argues passionately and at volume about something involving a relative in Detroit. A young woman, 19 years old, traveling to join an aunt in New York she has never met, sits with her back against the wall and watches the room. She has 16 American dollars sewn into the hem of her skirt. She has been told that steerage on the Titanic is the finest in the world, and she believes it, because the bunk she sleeps on has a mattress, and the food comes 3 times a day, and the ship doesn't leak. She has no idea that these walls, this pleasant, noisy, warm room, will be one of the most dangerous places on the ship in approximately 28 hours. Directly below her, deeper in the ship's belly, the boiler rooms never sleep. The stokers, the black gang they call themselves, from the coal dust that stains their skin, work in 4-hour rotations, shoveling coal into furnaces that burn at over 1,000 degrees. The heat is immense. The noise is biblical. The roar of furnaces, the clang of iron shovels on iron grates, the hissing of steam pipes. They work shirtless. Their muscles are extraordinary and exhausted simultaneously. One of them pauses his shoveling and presses his hand against the outer hull. The steel is cold, colder than usual. The Atlantic in April should be cold, yes, but this cold means something. He isn't sure what. He picks up his shovel again. There is a quota to meet. The water he can feel through the steel will, in 28 hours, be inside this room. The furnaces will scream as seawater hits them. The stokers will run. The cold that registers as a passing oddity is the first whisper of what is coming. April 14th, Sunday, the last full evening. The first-class reception room is at its most beautiful tonight. The light from the chandeliers pools on the carpet in warm gold circles. The orchestra plays a waltz, slow, slow, swaying, the kind of music that makes you feel that time itself has agreed to slow down. The women are dressed in their finest, evening gowns in cream and jade and deep wine red, diamonds at the throat, hair pinned with tortoiseshell combs. The men are in white tie. The waiters move through the room like ghosts, silent, efficient, barely there. Captain Edward Smith dines in the a la carte restaurant tonight. He is 62 years old. This is his last crossing before retirement. He has sailed the Atlantic more times than he can count, and he has said in various interviews over the years things about the sea that will read very differently in the newspapers next week. He eats well. He accepts a cigar after dinner. He speaks pleasantly to the passengers at his table about the crossing, about New York, about the extraordinary weather, calm, flat sea, brilliant stars. At 9 p.m., he excuses himself and goes to the bridge. The wireless room is busy tonight. Two operators, Harold Bride and Jack Phillips, have been managing a backlog of passenger messages all day. The wealthy love to telegraph their friends from the middle of the ocean. It is a novelty. Between these messages, ice warnings have been coming in all day from other ships. They describe ice fields. They describe bergs. Some of these warnings reach the bridge. Some do not. The wireless operators are exhausted from the passenger traffic. At 11 p.m., the last official warning from the Californian comes in. Bride and Phillips are too busy to relay it to the bridge. The Californian is so close that her signal is blasting into their headphones, and Phillips, irritated, sends back a sharp message telling the other operator to keep out, that he is working Cape Race. The Californian goes quiet. In the staterooms, passengers are already asleep or nearly so. Margaret Brown reads, "A father tucks his children into their bunks. A honeymooning couple lies awake, speaking softly about their plans. Speaking softly about their plans. The ship hums beneath them a constant vibration that by now feels like a heartbeat, so familiar that no one notices it. The temperature outside has dropped to near freezing. The sea is a mirror. The stars are merciless in their beauty. It is 11:39 p.m. Frederick Fleet, still in the crow's nest, still without binoculars, is scanning the same darkness he has been scanning for hours. He is cold and tired and alert in the mechanical way of someone who has learned to perform alertness. Then something changes in the texture of the dark ahead. Something pale, something enormous. His hand finds the bell cord. He rings it 3 times and picks up the telephone.